Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And I'm afraid I'm still in this particular format at the moment. May well be some time. I've got no chance at the moment of getting this medication. Apparently, it's on its way, and I've been told it'll be here in about 20 minutes. Unbelievable, isn't it? Anyway, we have another story, which I think may be of interest, which is that Hamza Yousaf is seen as being so weak as an SNP leader that he would rather burn what's left of his own credibility than to sack anyone from his team, because he daren't. I've always called him the Ken doll of Scottish politics, because he's rather smooth down the front. And there's nothing there. There's literally nothing there. The man has zero cojones, because he knows he's in such a precarious position that should he fire anyone, it would be seen as a potential threat. That person who he fired would then go to the backbenches and start maybe building a case against him. This is how scared he is. He's paranoid. And leadership is a hard thing. Paranoia and fear is what runs through the minds of these people all the time. And because of it, it makes them weak. Thatcher, for all her faults, was never weak because she literally didn't care. She said, if you go to the backbenches and work against me, you'll be finished. And 9 times out of 10, that was true. Never lost a vote. This is true. Never, ever lost a vote, did Thatcher. However, that's a different video for a different day. But his new ministerial top team, they were officially installed yesterday. And everybody was basically ridiculing it, because they were saying, first of all, that it's the largest, most bloated Scottish government ever, with 30 ministers. 30! Unbelievable, isn't it? It goes to show that none of them are capable of doing a full job, so they all have to be given bits of jobs. But they all, of course, are taking ministerial salaries, and it's costing an absolute arm and a leg. £3 million a year for these uneducated, ignorant, stupid buffoons to sit there and hold court while Rome literally burns. So it's also a case of recycling. So it's all your failed ministers. Everyone, have you failed before? Don't worry, we'll put you in a new role and you can fail differently. And it's one of these weird situations where you fall upwards. Rivals, I mean, in Holyrood are all wondering whether the 3 million, will be worth it, considering all the failures of those who've already presided by many failures, I suppose, including sort of DRM, the ferries, transport, NHS, you name it. They've all failed. Education, bang. And so instead of, punishing the weak, you're promoting them. What kind of madness is this? And I suppose the problem with it is if you failed and you missed out on a ministerialship, don't worry. All you have to do is wait, because in a few weeks there'll be another scandal come out. Someone else will have to resign, and it's your turn. And that's all it is. It's Buggins' turn, isn't it? The first minister, Holder Hamza, he was forced into this reshuffle after Matheson had eventually had to quit over that £11,000 tossing off bill. Although we have the new guy, and he also looks like he's got an £11,000 bill for flying to LA. Did the story yesterday, just so he could give us a 15-minute speech. Could have done that on Zoom and saved a fortune. So you wonder how long it'll be before he has to resign. But obviously there's one there. You got Neil Gray. He's a day into the job and announces something, and then a week later has to unannounce it because they don't have the money for it. You've got his old job has now been swallowed up by Mary McCallan, which goes to show his old job was so small that the Saturday girl can do it part-time. Whittam, she quit her job, and McKelvey has come in, and her old job's gone to CoCab Stewart. And then his lot has had an expanded role in transport. And there's a woman who never looks like she's ever moved in her life, except to go to Greg's. And it is absolutely appalling. 30 ministers, all paid by the taxpayer. Thank you very much. They're all going, woohoo, lots of money, and for what? What are they actually doing? Are they making Scotland a better place to live? No, it's falling apart. You've got to say that it must be the influence of the Greens, I think. The Greens are doing very, very well out of this because obviously they're into recycling and there's been nothing recycled as much as all these cabinet ministers. But as new ministers claw their way up the side and clamber onto the sinking ship, they can take comfort from one fact, and that is as long as this weak, useless First Minister remains in post, they're never, ever going to be fired. He hasn't got the balls. Even Jackie Bailey, I mean, she was scathing in her criticism of the reshuffle, and she said the addition of more ministers will stop the ship from sinking. But only because you're bunging the hole up with all these bodies. But those who don't get a turn, they only have to wait, and then it'll be their turn. And then the ship, of course, will right its course and sail on to the heady waters of the North Sea, and wherein they can look at their bird-chopping power plants that cost millions and millions and millions of pounds a day, and then off to the oil fields that they despise so much, which bring in millions and millions of pounds a day. It's almost as though they haven't got a clue. Although, to be fair, he sat there yesterday and he gave the official welcome and he said that the new appointments reflect the government's priorities and the missions that drive them. And he went on about equality, opportunity to community. He didn't mention anything about making the lives of Scots better. It was all political bullshit. Equality, opportunity and community are wonderful, but they're not as good as a good NHS, as having your kids educated, as having a wonderful infrastructure. No, none of that. It was all about everybody's equal. Well, that's great, but not great at all when everyone's equally knee-deep in the utter shite of the bollocks that this government has created. And where do you go from here? What does this government have to do? What's the best thing that they can do to make life better for everyone? I think the answer is clear, ladies and gentlemen. They can damn well resign. They can force an election at Holyrood and see if someone else can do better. Because I think, in all honesty, other people couldn't do worse. Thank you very much for listening. It's been a privilege to send this video today, and hopefully I should be home back in the studio soon. Although I think my dog now wants a walk, so he's sitting in the car with me, and he's giving me a fair look. But anyway, probably later I will get back to you. But thanks very much, and do hit that subscribe button, and I will speak to you later. Bye then.